Ladies and gentlemen, happy Friday. It is Friday, and this is the Computer Programming University. We are live, and I'm gonna give you a glimpse, another glimpse, into my beautiful new Python program that allows you to scan the YouTubes and research on certain topics. So this program is, as I illustrated in the last live stream, basically, let's say there's a topic like Donald Trump talking about healthcare, and you want to know who's talking about it. So basically, we have a database of a bunch of YouTube channels that talk about news. You type in the keyword that you want to look for, you hit enter, and it searches all those YouTube channels to see if they're talking about that topic. If it finds somebody's talking about your topic, it automatically opens up the page in the browser. But I've made some enhancements since the last live stream, and that's what I want to show you. But remember, this is a work in progress. I still haven't done an official release yet. If you guys want the link to the GitHub, I'll give it to you. But this is a work in progress, so you might see some things that you're not supposed to see. But let's take a look at the code, or actually, let's run the program so you can see it in its latest iteration. This is the Computer Programming University, live on a Friday. TGIF. Let's begin. Shout out to Naraz Mega Noob and Igor. All right, so that was a ridiculous intro. Now let's get to it. So I'm going to go ahead and run the program so you guys can see what it looks like and see what it do. What it look like. All right, and run. Run in, go.
Enter keywords.
And she says, enter keywords. That's right. I put a lady inside of my program. Because why not? So let's see. What's the topic of today? Healthcare is one. Oh, Melania. There's something about Melania. Let's see. Melania. And let's go and search and go.
Searching.
Searching. Sounds so confident, right? Nobody's talking about Melania. Wow.
Search complete.
Oh.
Now. All pages opened.
Okay. Still working on my catching up the Control C. That's interesting. No one's talking about Melania.
Enter keywords.
Melania gets no love. Let me take a quick look on the interwebs and see what is going on today as far as news. Let's see. Google News. What's the hot topic? Hot topic. And today's hot topic for Friday, September 25th, 2020 is coronavirus updates. 2 million deaths worldwide, likely before vaccine, WHO official says. 2020 elections, SCOTUS battle. Minneapolis residents say crime is rising after funding shift. New measurements show moon has hazardous radiation levels. Okay. Kim Jong-un apologized for killing South Korean official. All right. Well, what's the hot topic, though? Pro-Trump activists plotted violence ahead of Portland rallies. Sequel to hit game Among Us canceled. I'm not really seeing anything that looks too hot. Let's see what's on CNN, because we want something that's, because what people post on YouTube is a little bit more selective versus what they post on their web pages, and we're only looking at YouTube. So Florida governor clears restaurants and bars to fully open. Let's see. COVID-19 trending. Breonna Taylor. All right. Let's see about Breonna Taylor. Breonna. And I fixed the issue before. I did a ridiculous thing where I was space splitting. So basically, I was splitting the user input by spaces. How dumb is that? So if you type in, hey, don't insult me. I wrote this program, okay? So don't agree with me that was dumb. Anyway, so I was doing space splitting. So that means if I type in Taylor, Breonna Taylor, it's going to create a list that contains two elements. The first element is Breonna, the second element is Taylor. So it's going to iterate through that list. So it's first going to search who's talking about Breonna, who's talking about Breonna. Then it's going to say who's talking about Taylor, we don't want that. We want the context of Breonna and Taylor represents the name of a specific person. We're not interested in Taylor. We're not necessarily interested in Breonna because there's other Breonnas, other Taylors, right? We're looking for a specific individual and we want to target that specific individual using their full name. So we want that to be a single element. So what that means is instead of space splitting, I don't know whose idea that was, I'm comma splitting. So if I wanted to actually search legitimately for, well, let's actually do this. So this is going to give me Taylor. What am I doing? Oh my goodness, Taylor. So that's going to search for, that's going to put a single element in my list called Breonna Taylor. That's a single element. It's going to search for those two together. Now, if I do a comma and I say healthcare, let's say healthcare. Trump has got some bogus con artist healthcare thing going on. Let's see if we can get that. So now what we're going to get is a list that contains two elements. The first element being Breonna Taylor, second element being healthcare. So the way it's going to work is it's going to search for who's got Breonna Taylor, who's got Breonna Taylor, and then it's going to search who's got healthcare, who's got healthcare. So those are two separate things that it's going to actually search for, one after the other. So let's go ahead and run it and see what happens. Run it, run it, run it, go.
Searching.
Holy moly, we got hits all over the place. We got Taylor. Everyone's talking about Breonna Taylor. And healthcare. Well, one person's talking about two. Now it's going to open up all these tabs and crash my computer.
Search complete. Opening pages now.
So we got 24 hits. It's nice that we have the counter at the bottom. I think I broke my program. That was a long delay to open the browser and it's still not open. Wow. It opened up two browsers. Interesting. So I'm not sure if that is a bug in the code somewhere or something random that was caused by the browser or my system. But it seems to have opened up one browser with one of the YouTube pages, and then it's opening up a separate browser with the rest. And in general, it took a very long time to open up anything. And as you can see, I have not yet introduced my latency reducing.
All pages opened. I'm done. I'll be here if you need me. Shutting down for now.
Oh, that's what I like to hear. So it's done opening up all the pages, but as you can tell, I have not started implementing my performance enhancing, latency reducing features, which is the caching. I want to start with basic caching and then introduce some kind of hybrid caching or smart caching. So basic caching will be the introduction to, like for example, I already searched these pages earlier, right? So we took the hit of the time that it takes to connect to these different YouTube pages and then actually download the information to be able to parse it for what we're looking for. I shouldn't be doing that over and over again. These pages are not being updated once a minute or once every 5 minutes, right? Most of them won't be updated for hours at a time, right? There may be hours between each new video posting. So, first version of caching, it'll first of all preempt the user's query, meaning as soon as you start the program, and perhaps we can even have a process that runs in the background, There's an idea I just thought of on the fly. There you have it, live on Computer Programming University. I came up with a new idea. So I could actually have a process that is spawned by this program that runs in the background and keeps checking these pages for any updates. It goes to the pages, stores the HTML data in a file somewhere, and the next time it checks, it'll see, has anything changed? Nothing changed. Okay, nothing to do here. Has anything changed? Okay, this page has changed. So they uploaded a new video or something, right? So it goes and it downloads that update. So at any point in time you start the program, you probably have a very up-to-date local cache of all the pages. So when you do the searches, I'm thinking it should be blisteringly fast, because we're downloading, I don't know what it is, it's 40, 50, or 60 pages. That's a lot of websites, and it's not like back in the day when it was just some text. Things are a little bit more complicated today, so that's a lot of stuff to download over and over and over again, and you're doing them at the same time, by the way. So think about the time that it takes for a single page to download, and generally speaking, the web developers will develop their pages for, they're considering that it's the only page being opened at a time, right? No one is considering, well, on average, you have dum-dums like Computer Programming University that might try to open up my page along with 50 other pages, so I want to make sure that I'm not taking up too much time, right? So that's not a thing. Everyone designs their web pages with the idea of opening up a single page at a time. So with that being said, standards that work for a single page at a time will fall off the cliff very quickly when you try to open up a whole bunch of them at a time, because that's not how these pages were designed to operate. So that's just too much load. I mean, think about it. You're multiplying, to put it simply, like you're multiplying the load of the loading times how many pages you're opening up, right? So if the load of memory and CPU and internet or network is whatever we want to give it as far as a metric, you're going to multiply that metric by the amount of times of pages. So it's like if it's a factor of 5 and you're opening up 30 pages, it's 5 times 30. So things can get pretty messy pretty quickly. So the idea of having it local will be a big deal. So I think having a process running in the background that saves the local caches, constantly checks for new pages, updates the pages, so when you start the program, it's already got a local cache. You type in any string and it's like bang, it just searches all those files and you should get results like instantly. Then I will put a time factor in there, probably prioritize just checking locally only. So you search for the string locally only and you immediately deliver those results, and then you do a check to see if there's anything new. So you make sure at the end of the day the user gets the most up-to-date information, and they also get the best user experience, because again, they're going to type in a string, they're going to get the results super fast, and then they're going to start looking at, okay, this is cool, look at all these tabs and different pages, let me take a look and see what's going on. And while they're doing that, you can instantly go and do your checks. Anything new, anything new, anything new, oh, something's new, download. And then you can I don't know how to deal with that though, because if I've already opened up a tab to a certain YouTube page, and then I later on check and see that page has something new on a very basic sort of perspective, I'm going to end up opening up another tab, a duplicate tab, right? Because I already have a tab open to that page. So unless I can figure out a way how to close a specific tab, I don't know, man, that sounds kind of scary. I don't know if I'll be able to do that, to access a specific tab and close it. I don't know about that. I think I'm going to at least start with just notifying the user and saying, hey, there's an update to this. Do you want me to open it up? and then the user can close the tab and do their own tab management. But that's the basic idea. And then the hybrid stuff is again a combination between local cache and memory. So sometimes stuff will be in memory, sometimes it'll be on the hard drive, and sometimes we'll be downloading stuff directly from the web page. So the overall experience should be pretty smooth. So I'm gonna wrap up this live stream, but before I do that, I'm going to give you guys a quick look at the codes. And yes, codes, because it's not a single code, it's many codes. I'm being silly. Anyway, let's open up the page. VIM page loader. So it's not as messy as the last time. I did some level of cleanup, but this is not to my liking in terms of the formatting. I like my code to look a little bit neater than this does. So this is kind of a little bit little messy, just a little bit. Anyway, so we still have unnecessary imports, I'm sure. I believe request is not even used. Matter of fact, we can simply do a check. So let's do a check right now. Is this actually being used? It is not. So, not 100% sure about this one, but I know this is definitely not being used. So let's get rid of that. And let's see about URL. I don't think I'm using. I think I'm using web browser. So URL. So that's a result of refactoring that changed. Yeah, so that's not even there. So I refactored from using these libraries, then I end up using different libraries. So I think the current version of the program is using web browser and Beautiful Soup. Beautiful Soup for HTML parsing, and the web browser to open up the browsers. So I don't think this other is URL open. I don't think that's being used either. Oh, so that is being used. Interesting. So we're doing from URL lib import URL open. Okay, so we're getting URL open from the URL lib. So we still need that. Okay, so we'll leave that alone. Definitely not using signal anymore. The catching of the control C did not work, so we'll have to try something else. So let's remove that for now. I'm browsing system OS read time. Let's move this up here and move you up here. We can DD. All right, kind of got the libraries together. Why is this cut off from my live stream? Who did this? Who set up this live stream? Who let the dogs out? Who? All right, there we go. Let's make this a little bit smaller and move it over to the right. So hopefully you guys should be able to see the full page now. It was cut off a little bit in the beginning there. So probably said import time. Cut off the I. All right, so this is for the sound. From play sound, import play sound from GTS. So GTS that's my text to speech. Google text to speech, GTTS. That's the thing that's saying, hello, how are you? I am done. You are the most awesome programmer in the universe. Hey guys, don't get any ideas. This is a computer programming video. All right, let's keep it professional. All right, so here is my little function here. And this is how, so all this is how I'm doing the sound text to speech. I think this is a little bit sloppy, so I'm gonna probably enhance this in the future. Why this is sloppy is because it's slow. Well, it's probably slow and verbose. What's happening here is we are taking in this parameter for this function. So to run this, you're going to say, and then you're going to put what you want to say inside here, right? And this function is going to take that, and basically every time you see text, it's going to be whatever you typed in, right? So whatever you say you want to say, it's going to assign it to a variable called message. And the reason why I did that is because text is a specific parameter for GTTS. I don't know. Could I have said text equals text? That seems a little scary to say text equals text. Right? That's why I did it that way. But I don't know if that makes sense or not. But yeah. So I'm taking your whatever you type in, and then I'm putting it into message, right? I'm assigning the language for the text to speech, so English, giving it that setting, and then I'm creating a variable called speech, which has this information in it. So it's Google text to speech. Text equals message. Message is the text that you entered. Lang equals language, right? And language equals en, right? So that means en. So lang is en, basically. Slow equals FOSS. So it's another setting. So I'm thinking, and actually I could probably make this change right away, because we don't need to set these parameters every single time that you want to say something. That's kind of silly. I mean, it's not really going to take any time to do this. All this stuff is going to be in a blink of an eye, but I think it's kind of bad design. I mean, well, the message equals text we need here. That's a local thing, not a global variable. But the language equals en. As long as I don't plan on using language for a variable for anything else, I mean, I can just put this at the top of the program, say language equals en. I can say, that's a little tricky. This part's a little tricky, because this might be time for a lambda time. Lambda might be the way to go. So lambda is kind of a sort of a ad hoc function, if you will. So instead of doing a function like this, I could just do a sort of a one-line function in line. The concern that I have here is, how do I set this ahead of time? Because one of the parameters here is the text that you want to type, right? That's something that we want to be able to touch. And it's not just a standalone parameter, right? Then again, actually, that might work. That might work. Because, yeah, this line, I think I could just put at the top of the code. And then when I want to say something, see, the thing is, I want to only do the things that I'm trying to do in that moment. Right? I don't want to be doing things that are not specific to that moment in time. Meaning, every time I want to say something, assigning the language to English is not something that I want to do in that moment. It's not like, what do you want to do? I would like to assign the language to be English. What else do you want to do? I would like to assign the speed to be slow, to be not slow, right? These are settings of how I want this module to work, right? I don't want to constantly be setting those settings. All I want to do is say something, right? So I would say the thing that needs to be modified is we need access to, so in order to speak, I need a way to populate this variable text. Text equals message. So I think what we do in line is at the moment, we put text into message. So anytime you want to say something, you put your text into a variable called message. And then that's it. You just do the speech save and play the sound. I think that should work. So every time you want to say something, you put a new content into the variable. So then when you try to do a speech.save, right? So speech.save is basically going to save the speech file, right? So speech.save is relevant to this variable speech, and speech basically refers to this variable message. So every time I want to speak, just update the message variable, which is pointed to in this, right? And then I can just do the speech.save and then play sound. So the other thing that's messy about this is this saving the file nonsense. I gotta figure out how to do the direct playing, because that's really a waste of time, spending time. It's a small file, but still you're spending time. It's gotta read your text, convert it to a file, save the file on the hard drive, and then use the play sound module to basically play the file. This should be able to directly play the sound, so I just need to figure that out. But anyway, so that's the essence of how the speech to text works. Play sound. So these are the beeps, little fancy beeps that I've added. What are you looking for today? We don't need all this verbose nonsense. Okay, play the wave file. So we're gonna play, that's just that little like toop or whatever sound. Sites match initiating that variable or list, empty list, and then we're opening up the file with all the websites. Then we prompt the user to enter keywords. We say it first, pass the string enter keywords to this function say. Then we take user input, and see, remember I said about space splitting and comma splitting? So we're comma splitting, which allows you to enter multiple elements or strings that you want to search for. So you can enter a phrase, right? So word space word, comma word, space word. You know what I mean? So you can have a series of words as one element that you're going to search for together as one, which is what this country needs. We're very, very divided as a country, and I think divided we stand. Okay. Anyway, sorry about the politics. So, okay. Yeah, so say searching. So it's going to say searching, and then prints the text for whatever reason. I don't know if I want to keep that. And then we got this other stuff going on. We got the we iterate through the sites list, which is all the web pages, right? We assign the site to the variable URL, right? And then we have another variable HTML, which we put in there. We use URL open to open the URL, which is the website that you have pulled from the sites list, right? And then we do the dot method of read So we're basically reading the URL that you open with URL open, right? And you're assigning the results of that to HTML. And then we are decoding the HTML. UTF-8 is as the method we're using there. HTML.decode. So we got to translate that into something usable. And we use the Beautiful Soup HTML parser. So the web page decoded, we put in a variable called HTML, same as we did before. And now we create a new variable called soup. Soup is good food. And in soup, what we put is beautiful soup, naturally. So beautiful soup, the library that we're using for HTML parsing, we give it some parameters. We give it HTML, which HTML is the page decoded, right? We give it a parameter called features, and we pass that parameter HTML.parser, right? So basically we are using the HTML parser feature of beautiful soup, right? And then we have lunch. Actually, it's past my lunchtime. I should actually make something to eat. I am hungry, guys. Are you hungry? I'm hungry. Print site. So we print the site. Why are we printing this site? So we're iterating through sites. So this is a loop, right? It is an infinite loop or a finite loop. Who knows the answer to that question? For site in sites. Infinite or finite? Finite or infinite? This is not an infinite loop because sites are not infinite, and sites is the source of our iterations. That's what is allowing us to keep looping, right? We keep coming back to sites, back to sites, back to reality. Every time we iterate through this loop, we go back to sites and pull a new website from there. But at some point in time, the sites file runs out. It only has so many lines, and that's why it's not infinite, because at that point in time, the loop will cease to function. Unless, of course, we cease it to function ahead of time. We can do a break at any point in time in this code to stop the loop, so we don't have to go through every single element in that file. But this is a finite loop, not an infinite loop. Anyway, so that's the context of what's happening below. Is ultimately the root. I don't know if this is an actual term, but I'm going to make it up. The root loop is fruit loop. The root loop is the for site in sites. So we're iterating through a list of sites or URLs, right? That is the base of what's happening here. This loop is nested in that loop. The point of this loop is, are you guys feeling loopy right now with all these loops? And you're just like, what is going on? This code 4 and 4, a 4 and a 4 and a... It's not that complicated. It's pretty simple. This is not a very complicated program, to be honest. The complexity is really going to come from the caching, I think. I'm excited to get through that process, but it's going to require some level of design challenges in terms of planning how it's going to work, what's the best way to do it, strategizing, and you're keeping track of a lot of different pieces of data. And then you have pages, you have a list of sites, and then you have to store the data for each specific site. You can have them in memory sometimes on a file. That's a lot of stuff going on. So that's going to take this to a whole nother level. But right now, this is pretty simple. So again, we're iterating through the sites list, right? A bunch of URLs, a bunch of YouTube pages, right? And every time we iterate through it, we have a loop within that loop. So that means, let's say we're going the first site in the page is CNN. So on the CNN YouTube page. So everything below right now is relevant to the CNN page. So we grab the URL, we decode it, we do the HTML parsing, and then we initiate a loop for CNN. Remember, this is the first iteration. First iteration is CNN, right? So now we're going to do a loop relevant to CNN. This loop is dealing with a 4 words in text. Remember, text is what the user entered. So that's the keywords that the user entered up here, right? That's the user input. So we are taking the text, and you notice we do 4 word in text. This is a loop. So the idea is we want to be able to not only deal with a single keyword or string, we want to be able to deal with multiple. If there's multiple, we need to do some kind of a loop, because we need to grab something from what the user typed in, do something with it, go back to the next item that they typed in, do something with it, go back to, and keep doing that until we've gone through everything the user has asked us to work on, right? So that's the point of this. For words in text, text is what the user entered, right? So what are we doing with the user? What are we doing with the what the user entered? So we have this variable page text, and in there we put soup.text. So we're applying soup to text, right? So whatever the person typed in, we are using the beautiful soup here to that, right? Now, there's some stuff I'm working on right now. Let's ignore this found site equals 1. That's the redundancy checking thing. There's an issue where you have multiple hits from the same YouTube page, where maybe you can open up the same page multiple times. So I wanted to avoid that. So just ignore that for now. This is where we're going to do the string search. So the user gave us a keyword to look for. This is how we look for it. We're using the re module that we imported above, and we're doing the dot method of find all. So re has a method called find all, and these are the parameters that we passed find all. We gave it words, which is, remember, for words in text, right? So for this variable words, every iteration take something from text, which is what the user typed in. So take an element from what the user typed in and assign it to words, right? Next iteration, take the next thing that the user typed in from text and assign it to words. So essentially, right now, because this is a loop, this right here represents the first thing that the user typed in. And we're passing that as a parameter to the re-find all. Right? Find all is going to find every instance of the string. Right? So, first element the user typed in. Then we have page text, which is, so basically the way this works is, what are you looking for? Come on. Let me know. What are you looking for? Okay. What are you looking for? And then also where you want to search for it. Right? So the idea is string text. How should I refer to it? Text or block of text? Book. This is the text that you want to search for this string in. This contains the souped up version. So we did a soup.text, right? So remember, soup is beautiful soup parsing the web page, right? Using the HTML parser. So we parse the page, store it in soup, right? And then we use this dot method of text, right, to get that text out of there, and we assign it to the page text. So basically, this is the text from the web page. This is the string we want to search for. So the first string, let's say, is Brianna Taylor. So first iteration of this loop, which is going through each element of what the user typed in, is going to make words be Brianna Taylor, right? So that means that the first string search that we're going to do, regular expression RE, the first search that this is going to do is going to be for Breonna Taylor, right? Every time we iterate through this loop, the words is going to become an element that the user typed in, comma separated, right? So this would be in the first iteration, Breonna Taylor, and then this would be the text from the page parsed out. We're going to search through the first. So we said we're first iteration of the root loop is CNN's page. So page text would be the parsed version of CNN's YouTube page. So we're going to search all the text that we pulled with Beautiful Soup, and we're going to look for the string Breonna Taylor, right? And this is kind of difficult, so I don't know if I'm going to cover this in this particular video, but this right here, it's kind of difficult to understand because it's kind of like it's ignore casi, re.ignore casi. So it's kind of like French. I apologize for someone who's taking me seriously with that one. It's ignore case, guys. Ignore case. it does exactly what it looks like it does. It's going to ignore case. So whether you type in Breonna, uppercase B, lowercase b, does not matter. If we didn't put this here, that would be very problematic because we would see Breonna with a capital B versus lowercase b as completely different strings, right? So the case didn't match, we won't get a hit. All right, so moving along. So we're gonna, and by the way, so the results of this we're putting in the variable m. So we're searching this first string in the YouTube page, right? Parsed out text, and if we find something, we put it in the variable m. Then we have this variable called amount len equals len m. So the length of this variable m is going to be assigned to amount. So guess what happens if we do a search and we don't find the string? Then the length of m will be 0. It won't have a length. There's nothing in there, right? So basically trying to store the amount of elements that we found, right? So how many times did we find the string in the document? Every time we find it, because this is find all, right? So if it's 12 times, we are going to find 12 times. And we're going to put that in a variable, m, right? So the variable m is going to have a length of 12. So therefore, amount is going to equal 12. So we want to know how many things we found? We look at len m, the length of m. All right. And if m, so basically, if we don't find anything, then m won't be if. If m, yes, m. M will be m if m has a len. Did a little improv rhyme there. M will be m if m has a len, meaning if we find something, m will contain something, right? It will have a length because it will have some contents, right? So let's say we find the string at least once, then m will have a length of 1, right? But m will be a thing. It will contain something, right? So what I'm saying is, if you found something, if m, then do this stuff, right? Pretty simple. If you found something, do this stuff. If you don't find something, is there an else? I don't think there's an else. There's no else. So either you find something or you're out of luck. Nothing's going to happen here. So if we find a string, what do we want to do? We want to strip it. Get that, not really relevant to the searching for the string. This is more of a display thing. Just getting rid of the end of line character in the site itself. So the URL for display purposes. So we play a little beep. So every time we find something, we go beep. Actually, it's a higher pitch. Beep. I can't go that high. Anyway, it's a beep. All right. Sites match dot insert. So basically what we're doing here is we're inserting. So whenever you find a string on a page, we want to store that page in a list. The list is called sites matched. Right? So I created a variable called sites matched to store all of the URLs of pages that contain the string, because I need to be able to open up all of those pages once we're done. We're going to search for every string that the user requested at every single web page. And then when we're done, we need to have a catalog of all of the pages where we found the string, so we can be able to iterate through that list and open up each page. So that's why each iteration here, we are doing a dot insert, which is a method that you do with lists, or can do with lists. So we're doing a dot insert, which means to, you guys aren't going to guess this one. It means to insert, insert an element into the list, right? So if we have a hit, insert that URL into the list, right? And then we're doing a 0, site. What does that mean? Oh, so this would be the index position. So we're putting it in the front of the list. And site is what we're putting in there. So site will be the URL. So we're putting the URL in index position 0. Alrighty. Find I in site. Find I in site. I'm sorry, find. Why did I say find I? For I in site. So we're iterating through the sites, and we're doing some nonsense that doesn't make any sense. Something that's in progress that I'm working on. Please ignore that. If you try to do that, you're probably going to crash your computer. Not really, but still. So, and then at the end, we just do the printing of the results, kind of a summary type of thing. How many times did you find the string? Total of the string equals amount. Remember, amount was the length, right? The length. So how many? Basically, the find all is finding all of the instances of a specific string, and it's going to put that in a list. So the amount of elements in that list directly correlates to how many times you found the string in the text that you were searching. So basically, we're saying, how many times did you find the string? And that's the amount you're going to see displayed. And there's a little time. I don't know why there's a time. I don't know why. Why would you add latency to your program here? Let me see. What is this about? This is curious. Why did I put a minuscule delay time here? I need to zoom out for better context. So that's interesting. So this is in line with the for loop here. Why would you do that? So that means we've introduced, I think that's a bug. We've introduced a 0.01 second delay for this for loop. So every time we search for a string, for words in text, so this is iterating through whatever the user typed in, and also doing the search for the string. I've introduced latency, as if this program is not slow enough already. Why would you do that, man? Oh, man. Gotta be the only programmer in the world who introduces latency into their own code. This program is not slow enough. Let me add some more latency. Wow. So we'll run this without the added latency there and see how much faster it is. Wow. Holy moly. Yeah. By Menon. So then we just say complete when we're done. As you can see, I was using this robot voice before. That robot voice is really bad. It's like, my name is Dr. Spatzo. That's for those of you older people that know Dr. Spatzo from Sound Blaster 16-bit sound. Oh, the good old days of what would that be? PCI sound cards? Was it PCI back then? Or was it I want to say SCSI. I don't think it was SCSI. There might have been SCSI. I'm sure there was a SCSI sound card. But I'm pretty sure I'm talking about PCI. Wow, PCI is old. Yeah, there was a program called Dr. Spatzo, and this is way back in the early 90s. And this guy right here, SPD-Say, straight out of the 90s. Dr. Spatzo. Thank you. You are wonderful. Yeah. Compared to the Google text-to-speech with the lady, it's like, I'm here if you need me. Like, yeah. So we just jumped this program from the 90s to 2020 and beyond. So we did say search complete. Actually, we don't need this anymore. So let's just get rid of this. And so that's the end of all of this. It's just gonna say how many web pages had the string, right? So it's hits and then a number. That number is based on len sites match. Remember, sites match is a list that contains all of the URLs that contain the string. Let me zoom this back in again so you guys can actually see what it is and what it do. So yeah, so the amount of pages that we find the string in are going to be the len of site match. So how many sites have the string? Hits, colon, that number. Then we say opening pages now. And then this is the loop where we go through. Remember I said I wanted to store a list of all the URLs so we could loop through all of the pages, right? Opening them up. So if len sites match, so that means if sites match has a length, which means if any pages are in there, then do this loop for page in sites matched. So basically iterate through each site in that list and issue the web browser .open. So web browser is a library that allows you to open up web pages. So we use the .open method. We give it the page, which is the URL that we want to open, right? Because we're grabbing pages from sites match, which is a list of the pages that have the string. And then it's like open page, open page, open page, open page, open page. And then if the sites match doesn't have a length, then it's supposed to say page not found, but that's not working. So something about the length of sites matched, something about that is not working. So we could do a quick QA thing. Let's do a little quick QA thing. So what I like to do for QA is I will add something that's specifically for QA purposes, and I add a little note here. QA checking URL list length. All right, so I'll know that if I see this in the future, I know this is just a QA thing. I'll comment it out when I'm not using it, or I may just delete it. But just in case, I want to be, keep organized, have my notes, and know what's going on. I don't want to just see some random code like, what is this? I don't know what this is for. So I know this is for QA. So what I want to do here is I want to see what this thing is that I'm running this code against, right? I'm saying if len sites matched. But what is len sites matched, right? I want to see that. So let's do, I should be able to just do, I should be able to just do len sites match, right? Seems logical to me. Seems logical to me. That's probably going to work. That's the thing I love about Python. I don't know that will work. I don't know that I've ever done that before. But Python is logical. And I think that syntax looks logical to me. What do I want? Like, this is the beauty. Like, it's like, what do I want? What do you want, man? I want to see the len of site matched because I have code that is going to be run based on what len sites matched is. So in order for me to understand what's happening, I need to see the thing that's supposed to trigger the activity that we see here, right? So it seems logical to use a print statement, and then in the statement just simply put the thing that I want to see, right? Shouldn't be in quotes because it's not a string, right? So I just put it in there raw like that. That didn't sound right, but anyway. So let's run it. So let's see what it looks like. So we're gonna do the Python 3 page loader and see what it do, what it be.
Enter keywords.
Let me enter something that's not gonna find anything. So let's search for cola.
Searching.
So no hits.
Search complete. Opening pages now.
Huh. Interesting. So it didn't like what I did. And you see it didn't work. It's not supposed to open pages now because it didn't find anything. Hits are 0, right? Hits is 0, so it shouldn't be trying to open up anything. I don't know if it actually tried to open up anything because you see it didn't open. Well, that's what they're going to open. There's no URLs. It's saying line 97, the QA line, name site matched. Dum da da dum dum. What is site matched? Who knows what site matched is? Can you guys spot what the problem is? What is the problem here? Other than, was it Pepcock? Problem between the keyboard and the mouse. Problem between. Anyway, why is it saying it doesn't know what this is? Even though I was using it here with no problem. Why is this a problem and this is not? One of these things is not like the other. Sites. S. Site. No S. Typo. This should have an S. So, as always, Python is correct and I am incorrect. Python is always correct. If you write your code properly, the code will run properly. If it's not running properly, you are the problem. It's not Python's fault. All right, let's run it again. Run it.
Enter keywords.
All right.
Searching.
Searching and searching. Searching and searching and searching. What will we find? I gotta finish eating my breakfast. It's almost.
Search complete. Opening pages now. All pages opened. I'm done. I'll be here if you need me. Shutting down for now.
Okay, so it looks like we see a 0 there, right? Normally I would say what it is that I'm displaying so I know when it displays it, but I remember where this should be, right? This is where the print statement would be. So basically, it looks like, now that makes me want to evaluate another part of my code where I did a thing with len, the if-m statement. That if-m statement may not be doing what I think it is, but I'll look at that later. But basically, I mean, technically it's showing me 0. I mean, that's a, I guess that's a len. I mean, it's not null. I think Is 0 a len? That's a good question. That is a good question. Is 0 a len? I mean, technically, right? Not what we're looking for. Oh man, everyone who's asking about this is getting like downvoted. All right, I'll look into that later. But for now, I'm going to presume that what we want to do is we want to see if it's greater than 0. If len sites matched. Oh, and by the way, so this did work. I just guessed this, that I could do this, and I can. It's pretty obvious, pretty, intuitive. So, and even this is intuitive as well. As I say this, I'm probably gonna mess it up, but I should be able to just pretty simply just say if len sites match greater than 0. All right? I mean, that's basically what I want. I mean, you can't get any simpler than that. With bash, it's like, is it the square brackets or the parentheses? Should I use double or single? Like, but I think this will work. It's literally just put a greater than sign and 0. So let's see if that actually does work as I expect it to.
Enter keywords.
And
Searching.
running. Let's see. So it should find no results and therefore not open any pages and say not found or something. Moment of truth.
Search complete. Opening pages now.
Oh!
All pages opened. I'm done. I'll be here if you need me. Shutting down for now.
Well, it said opening pages, but did it really try to open the pages? Because it said not found, right? That's what it's supposed to do when it doesn't find something. So why is it still talking about opening pages? Because we say this before we even try to open pages. That's why. Dum. I shouldn't actually say that until I'm actually about to try. So I'm lying to myself. Lying to myself. So let's take this and put it here. And then let's delete it from here. And let's make this a little more fancy pants. Fancy pants. Oh my. I'm gotta escape that symbol there, otherwise it's gonna break up my quotes. I'm so sorry. Nobody cares about Words. That should work. So either we find the pages and then it says opening pages now, or we don't and it says it prints not found and says, oh my, I'm so sorry. Boo-hoo. And then regardless of what happens, it should not say, we don't want to say this here. That should be what it says after trying to open the pages. That's nice. Clean that up. Oh, what did I do? Holy moly. What just happened? All pages opened. Why did I get the other thing? Let's go here and copy and paste. Okay, so let's delete this from here. I think we got it. I think we got it, man. Run it.
Enter keywords.
Haha. I will enter keywords because you asked me nicely. Otherwise, I would say, no, I'm not entering any keywords. You're not the boss of me. Python program. Boom.
Searching.
The moment of truth. The moment of truth.
Search complete.
Oh no! What did I mess up this time, guys? No! Trace back. Most recent call last. Line 104 sucks. Say, I messed up the quote, didn't I? What did I do wrong? Say takes one positional argument, but three were. Oh no! I forgot about that. This is something I'm passing to a function. Brr. Oh yeah, I don't think there's a way to do this. This is something I need to figure out. I don't know if it can be done but something like this is something I ran into a couple of times, and I'm not sure how to solve this. If you guys know the answer, let me know. The problem here is where this say is a function, and it's supposed to take a single parameter, which is what you type in quotes. But I'm treating this like I'm doing a print statement. So I'm trying to print a string, a variable, whatever the contents are, and then finally another string. So that's the print syntax. But this is not the print statement. This is my say function, which is expecting me to give it a single thing. How do I... In theory, I would need to put the string that I want to put, I would need to make this a variable somewhere else and then feed that variable into the function. In theory. I don't know if this will work, but that's my theory. That's how I would approach this. Is I would want to contain this, because my function can only take a single parameter. It's only expecting a single parameter. I could make it accept 2 parameters. Maybe that's the way to go. That's getting too complicated, because what if I want to say like a variable, comma, a string, comma, like you gotta be good at predicting when you're dealing with programming, because you have to predict a lot of different scenarios in terms of what the user might do. You can't just write a program for a specific scenario that you're dealing with, right? I want to make it so that it can be useful for as many possible scenarios that a user might use this for as possible. So say stuff. I don't know, guys. I don't know if I can do this. So I want to put. I don't know how do you combine. I mean, I can put this. I can technically put this. How do I contain this in a variable? I mean, in theory, in the bash world, what I would do is I would not use single quotes to contain this, so that the variables actually work. Actually, it seems like Word is working, because Word is white here. So I don't know if this will actually work as is. So the point is, I want the results of this to literally be put into here as a single element. The problem is that within this there's quotes. Yeah, but the thing is, I want the interpretation of this to be put in there. So these commas are not part of this, and these quotes here should not be part of this. This is just simply a sentence, right? I just have these extra characters in here because I'm communicating with the interpreter in terms of indicating that this is a variable, this is a string, but the whole thing, this is just a normal sentence. So in theory, if I just put say stuff, might this actually work? So when it says stuff, will it actually say this sentence interpreted, which means words becomes a string and the commas aren't in there and the quotes, all this extra quotes aren't in there? One way to find out. But rather than waiting for this whole thing to run, I'm just going to copy this, go to the top of the program, and have it say this right away. QA, QA, QA. I get it, man. Stop yelling. Why are you yelling at me, man? All right. So does this actually work? Well, this won't work. Remember what we said when we did our Python tutorials? Indentation with intention. Indent with intention. Indentation with intention. And indentation is very important in Python. All right. Run it. Let's see the error message. Oh! Words is not defined. Okay, I think that's fine. That's fine. Words is not defined yet. So let's make words something temporarily. Words equals I have no words. Ironically. Boom! No! Tuple object has no attribute strip. What? That's other. That's actually it's That's further down. Yeah, it's just the way Python works, because I think we messed up that variable. So I think there's an easy way to deal with that. Let's make sure we're not touching other things further down in the codes. Word Z, say stuff, say stuff. So this should no longer affect anything further down. What? Why are you talking about stuff further down? Word Z, word Z. I don't get that. That's weird. All right, well, let's manhandle the program. It's gonna force me to close those quotes, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think it's gonna allow me to do that. If I leave it open like that, it's gonna try to run on beyond the end of the code, I think. Yep, end of file. So it's gonna make me go all the way down to the bottom. Just to say this. Boom, boom, boom. All right. What? How are you going all the way down like that? That's interesting. Line 40, say stuff. Line 26 in say. Oh, there's more stuff going on here. Text, strip. What are we doing here? Did we jump the gun on something? So we import everything we need. The say function is up here. Message equals text. Everything seems legit. I don't know why this is, that's bizarre. Why are you doing that? Very, very interesting. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna further manhandle this program. 2 can play at that game. XX. There you go. I want to see you play games with me now. How you like me now? So I have a new program that only has the stuff I need. So XX. Holy moly! What is sending you down to lines that don't even exist? Line 295. Oh my goodness, can't you read? It's referencing not my code, but the TTS code. That's why those lines were so far down. I was thinking it's in my code. It's not my code. It's specifically telling me if you would read. It's telling me where the problem resides. So somehow I have upset the Google text-to-speech. So let's start with the beginning. So it says line 40 and then line 26. So these are the lines in my actual code that it's complaining about. 26 and 40. So there's 40 and there's 26. Having a problem saving the file. Say stuff. It's got to be the whole thing that I'm trying to experiment with. I think my experimentation is a failure. It's this nonsense here. Clearly it doesn't like the way I'm trying to trick it into doing what it's doing.
Oh my.
Yep. So my plan was a failure. Trying to put a variable and... Alright, so what we can do here is we can delete that. Don't say stuff. Holy moly. Don't say stuff. Let's see what it looks like. Say stuff. So I want to see the I want to see how this looks to the interpreter. Yeah, that's not gonna work. It's got that comma in there. Why is that comma in there? It's supposed to just be one long sentence. See, I have no word should be combined. It's doing this stupid why would you put... I'm actually being ridiculous. I think I'm still using this print syntax. We're not doing print. So maybe we can just do double quotes. See, that's not working. In a shell script, this variable would still be active. But right now, it's converting the entire thing into a string. You can see by the color coding, right? See, nobody cares about wordsy. It's not... Huh. Do I have to put this within quotes? Separate quotes? Nope. Double quotes? Within double... Oh! Interesting. Nah. How do you put a string... How do you refer to a variable... Let's keep it simple. So let's do a... Insert... What if we do a... let's just examine the behavior of the very basics of this. So what if I just did a... I'm sorry this is so small. Let's do a... So all I'm doing now... See, that's not working. I can tell right away. That's a string. It's just going to say wordsy. Because I put it in quotes. See, I think that's going to be fine. That would work, but how do I... If I want to say a bunch of things, right? How do I have a string and a variable in one? I have no words. See, that's fine. So that works. But I want to have this plus some other stuff. So maybe I do a... quote plus look I can code. So I have a string and then I just slap a variable at the end, just plus variable name. This is Python. We can do stuff like that. Oh, look at that. I think that's it. I think that is it. So using that strategy, I should be able to string plus variable. That should be it. I think that's it, man. We have a winner. Ah, yes. Me like it. So let's, now that we know how this is supposed to work, okay, so now let's go back to the actual code and remove this silly QA block. And remove that orphaned multi-line quote at the end here. And let's fix this. So, in order for this to work, we need to first assemble the words that we want to pass to our function. So say stuff equals, holy moly, I don't even know what caused that. Say stuff oh my goodness, equals, and then we just put our thingamathing down here, up here. We'll clean that up in a second, but first of all, let's do the low-hanging fruit. In our say, we want to pass it the argument of say stuff, so the results of the magic we're about to assemble up here. So we start with a string. I'm done. Holy moly, where did this come from? OMG. OMG. What am I doing? I thought something looked wrong here. When I saw the I'm done aisle, I was like, why is there two? I don't remember those being there. Wrong part of the code, buddy. This is what we're editing here. So we just need to put this in quotes as a string. And then we need to plus. I think we need to put a space there. And I think that's it. Oh. Holy moly. That should work. That should work. Assuming the code's not still broken with my QA stuff I did. Is it so hard to just get rid of the X's?
Enter keywords.
All right.
Searching.
Searching.
Search complete. Oh my, I'm so sorry. Nobody cares about Carlisle.
Oh!
I'll be here if you need me. Shutting down for now.
Oh my goodness. Apparently, nobody cares about Carlisle. A little unexpected result. So we have fixed the code. Now I can complete this episode, this live stream, by doing a update to the gits. Update the gits, and we'll just do a fix fixing fixing ending speech bug and no sites found. But still try to open. All right. So just go ahead and push that out. And now you know my user on GitHub, so you can find me and bug me. And now I'm going to give you my password. I am the best in the world. Boom. And we're done. And just like that, we fixed the code. You are watching the Computer Programming University, where the first step is to smile, because learning should always be fun. Everybody have an awesome weekend. Be safe and keep on learning, keep on coding.
Enter keywords. Searching. Search complete. Oh my, I'm so sorry. Nobody cares about I love my subscribers. I'm done. I'll be here if you need me. Shutting down for now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Computer Programming University here. I'm out. I'm out.